6 years old. Hi, I'm Zosha and I'm 8 years old.
Hi everyone, this is Mommy.
What's up everyone, I'm Daddy.
And you're listening to
It's Movie Night.
And this week we watched Men in Black.
Columbia Pictures released this sci-fi buddy film in 1997. It's rated PG-13 and has a runtime of 1 hour and 38 minutes. Some other so-so kid-friendly movies Columbia released around this time were The Fifth Element and Spice World. Watch those with caution, parents.
Yeah. This movie's about a New York City cop who's recruited to a secret government agency that monitors extraterrestrial life on Earth known as the Men in Black and must protect the world from being destroyed on his very first few days.
Some familiar faces and voices. We have Agent J as Will Smith. He is the voice of Lance in Spies in Disguise. He plays the genie in the live-action Aladdin. He's the voice of Oscar in Shark Tale, but I think we all know him best as Will from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Never seen it, but I would like to watch that at some point.
I loved that show. I watched it almost every night, Nick at Night. I don't know what they're playing on that these days, or if it even still exists.
I don't know.
Agent K is played by Tommy Lee Jones. He is Harvey Dent or Two-Face from Batman Forever. He's the voice of Chip Hazard in Small Soldiers, and he plays Colonel Chester Phillips in the Captain America: The First Avenger. Edgar is played by Vincent D'Onofrio, who you might recognize as Vic Hoskins in Jurassic World, Kingpin from the Marvel shows like Daredevil, Hawkeye, and Echo, but parents, you may recognize him as Private Pyle in Full Metal Jacket. And then we have Zed, who is played by Rip Torn. He is the voice of Zeus in Hercules, Larrabee in Zoom, but parents, if you're around our age, you may know him as Patches O'Houlihan in Dodgeball.
Great character.
So funny.
The director of this movie is Barry Sonnenfeld. He directed Addams Family 1 and 2, so Addams Family Values. He directed Wild Wild West, which I'd have to rewatch that. I wonder if that movie's as entertaining as I thought when I was younger.
I'll say, yeah, when we were kids, I remember it being like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah. And then the movie RV, and he also directed all 3 of the first Men in Black films.
There's more than 3?
There's Men in Black International with Chris Hemsworth.
Oh, I never watched that one.
Neither have I.
It's not part of the OG, so
I heard bad things about it.
that would be why.
So this movie came out July of 97. Did you see it in theaters, Mommy? How old were you the first time you saw it, if you didn't? And then do you remember liking it?
So I don't think I saw this in theaters. Pretty sure this was a blockbuster release for me. A lot of these movies were blockbusters for me around this time. So I would have been, I'm assuming it was 98 by the time it hit blockbuster shelves.
Maybe.
So it would put me around 6 or 7 years old. What I remember the most, though, are the Burger King toys that came with the kids' meals.
For
I feel
sure.
like that's my core 90s Men in Black memory. But I do remember liking it. I know it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, there was like the talking Frank the Pug in the movie, which I was like, oh, he's so cute. Like, but no, I remember enjoying it. What about you?
I did not see it in theaters. This was a blockbuster release. I don't remember renting it like the day I rented it, but I remember watching it on I remember opening that plastic blockbuster case.
Hearing that crisp pop.
Yes, I do remember that. And I do remember liking it very much. I thought this movie was awesome.
It's a fun action film for kids, I would say.
Definitely.
So Zosha, in Men in Black, did we have a title drop? Do they ever say it?
They did once Zed said it.
Yeah, Zed says it when Jay's getting suited up. He's like, this is the last suit you'll ever wear. We are the something. We are the something. We are the Men in Black.
We're them. We're they. We are the Men in Black.
Cue staring.
Yep.
And Amelia, what about our cat cam? Did you spot any kitties?
Yeah, there's 2 of them, but one of the cats are named Orion.
Yeah, Orion's the one with the special collar, right?
Yeah, he has the galaxy.
That's right. And the big thing about this movie is aliens. Mommy,
Aliens.
are they real?
It's gotta be. They have to be out there somewhere. There's no way that space is as infinite as they say, and we're the only planet with living beings on it. No way.
There's no way.
No way.
No way. I believe in aliens as well. I believe that they're in our galaxy. Dark side of the moon, you know?
I'm telling you. They're like, oh, there's nothing on Mars. Is there?
The Anunnaki came here at some point, but I don't want to get into that. We're not deep diving into that.
3 hours later.
Yeah. So Men in Black is based off a comic book. I know that I had talked to you about this a while ago. But it came out in 1990, and it has the same concept of this as like a secret government agency. However, they stop more than aliens. They fight demons, mutants, zombies, werewolves, vampires, legendary creatures, and other paranormal beings.
Interesting. So they just fight everything that we think is fake.
Yeah, it seems like a Supernatural, like the show Supernatural, but for the Men in Black.
Okay.
They're wearing suits. I want to pick up one of these comics. Like, as comic readers, I feel like I should pick up at least one graphic novel or a few comics just to be like, oh yeah, this is kind of cool.
Yeah, and then just to see the difference, like, I wonder is this comic book series, like, kid-friendly, or is it a little bit more adult, like when you read most Batman?
Like Something's Killing the Children.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that. That'd be pretty cool.
Or even dark. Certain, like, DC lines get pretty dark.
They do. Yeah, we'll have to check it out.
Curious. But as for this movie, let's talk about a few favorite scenes. I always loved Jay's very first day for Men in Black, where he walks in and it's just this crisp white room. Like, everything in it's just very bright. And you see everybody going about their day, going about their job, and it's just like this hidden like world, this organization. I just thought it was so cool. You see all the like aliens in the background and stuff, and everyone's just like it's normal, like it's a Tuesday. But for all of us who are like, what, aliens are real? Like, it's just a really fun scene.
It's almost like an airport customs area. Yeah. Because there's a bunch of aliens. They're talking about, hey, how long are you staying for? Do you have any fruits and vegetables? Just like you would at a regular airport. And these people are these aliens are pulling out these weird things that you would a human wouldn't eat these things. But they eat these things. And then you also get to see some crazy looking aliens. So the people who did this was, I can't remember who does the special effects for like Star Wars and stuff. I think it's L&M.
Okay.
Or Lights and Magic. So yeah, L&M. And they designed all of these aliens, and I was like, man, they did a pretty good job, because one of them just looks like an amoeba, like he's just giant, and then there's some that are just a giant foot. There's some that are really small, like the worms. Like, the design of these aliens are really cool, and you get to see them in this opening scene. So yeah, it is a really cool scene.
Some of them give me like some Jar Jar Binks vibes, so that makes sense.
I can see that. That makes sense. One of my favorite scenes actually takes place in the same room that you're mentioning, and you see this giant screen, and it's where they're keeping tabs on like all they're humans. They look like humans, but they're actually aliens. So they're hidden aliens. And you get to see some celebrities. So like Danny DeVito and Steven Spielberg, Sylvester Stallone, Al Roker's on there. And so is George Lucas. So L&M or I&M, I can't remember. Wham! It's going to kill me to not know this off the top of my head.
Someone will correct us. It's fine.
Yeah. But I thought that was a really cool scene. And there's also references to other people. Like they mentioned Dennis Rodman.
All right, let's put in a call to Dennis Rodman. He's from that planet.
And at that time, Dennis Rodman.
Oh, he was a hot topic, man.
Yeah, he's always dyeing his hair. He's like wearing dresses to his own wedding. Like it's just crazy. And then they have an Elvis. They mention Elvis.
You do know Elvis is dead, right?
No, Elvis is not dead. He just went home.
It's like, oh man,
he left the building.
That's kind of cool. I like that. So it was a good reference.
Amelia had mentioned that her favorite scene is when they pull over this couple in a car, and they're not supposed to leave Manhattan, but the husband is trying to get his wife to a hospital because she's in labor.
Yeah.
So Kay, brings the husband off to the side to talk to him, and Jay is left with this woman who is clearly ready to give birth. Yeah. And it is just hilarious. Like, tentacles start coming out and slapping him and like grabbing him in the face, and he's screaming and dragged into this car. And Amelia just thought it was so funny, which it is. It's a super comedic
It's
scene.
A very memorable scene.
Oh, yeah. And this is his very first day, too. So Jay is like, what is happening?
Yeah, Kay's like, oh, you're doing great, kid.
What? You're doing fine, Ace.
Yeah, and the husband's like, is he okay to do that? Yeah, he's fine. He does it all the time.
It is a very funny scene. And then the baby that comes out is super cute.
Yeah, a little alien baby.
One of the scenes that I saw Zosha laughing at was the red button scene. So early in the movie, when they first get into the car together, Kay tells him, hey, don't ever push that little red button. It is very dangerous. And then in the third act of the movie, we finally get to see Kay say,
you remember the little red button?
Yeah, push the little red button.
And he does, and they're in a tunnel, and it flips into like a fly mode, and they're on the ceiling of the tunnel. And Jay wasn't wearing a seatbelt because he wasn't wearing a seatbelt. He always did.
Safety first.
He never did. Yeah, so this is one of those times when, they didn't have like sensors for seatbelts that kept dinging.
Cars didn't yell at you yet.
Yeah, but it's so funny because Kay is just hanging upside down, driving the car. He's listening to Elvis, and Jay is just panicking because he's flipped upside down. It's a funny scene.
It's just cool. It's one of those things when you're in traffic, you're like, oh man, I need a little red button.
A little red button would be great.
That would be awesome right about now. So with our favorite scenes, what other positives come with Men in Black?
I would say that if you like buddy cop films, you're really going to like this movie. It just fits that mold. You got the straight-laced guy who's played by Tommy Lee Jones, and he just does a great job. Everything he does is by the book. You can't get him to do anything wrong. And then you got the wild card partner who's played by Will Smith, and he just brings the comedy because he's new to this whole world.
And he's young.
And he's young, yeah.
Naive.
So if you like movies like The Other Guys or 21 Jump Street or Rush Hour or Lethal Weapon, this is going to fit that mold, and you're going to like it. Even movies with like dogs, like Turner and Hooch was a really good one, and so was Canine with John Belushi or Jim Belushi. Like hilarious movies of these two characters that shouldn't be together, or even Deadpool and Wolverine, it's a buddy cop movie. Like these people don't belong together, but
they still have great chemistry.
Yes, they do, and it really shows with Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith. It's a good element of this movie.
I agree. And just going along with that, one of the biggest positives is just Agent K. Yeah. Tommy Lee Jones. He is hilarious. He says everything so straight-faced and doesn't even bat an eye to all this crazy stuff happening. And Jay's like screaming and like having all these things happen. And again, stone cold. I would love to see the bloopers. Like, did he even break, or is Tommy Lee Jones that good? I would love to know.
That would be interesting.
You know, I feel like some bloopers would be awesome.
Fasten your seatbelt.
See, now we got to work on your people skills. You know, you get a much better reaction if you were a little more polite.
Fasten your seatbelt, please.
Whoa, that was good. Did you hear this?
And then just like I don't know if you want to call it sarcasm, but like, so Jay, he's the new guy and he's getting like really upset being around all the other Men in Black agents, and they keep calling him stuff like kid or sport. And he's like, listen, you guys wanted me, you recruited me, you know, you're going to treat me with some respect, so to speak. And like, without even missing a beat, Kay is like, all right, slick. So he just picks a different name, and it's so good.
You see Will Smith's eyes roll in that moment, and it's just like, I wonder if that was planned as well, or if that was something that just rolled off Tommy Lee Jones' head, because he really embodied this character of Kay so well.
But before y'all get to beaming me up, it's a couple things I want you to understand. First off, you chose me, so you recognize the skills. And I don't want nobody calling me son or kid or sport or nothing like that, cool?
Cool, whatever you say, Slick, but I need to tell you something about all your skills.
It really just makes you think, like, is it just phenomenal acting, or are these all just genuine reactions?
Yeah, he plays it so well. There's a part where they have to chase down one of the bad guys, and you see Jay doing his normal thing where he runs as fast as he can, and Kay just leisurely turns, starts to take a stroll, and goes to the car so calmly. And it's one of those things where it's like, man, just Kay's been in it for a while. He doesn't care about chasing down the car and catching this bad guy right now. He's like, you know, I know we're going to catch the bad guy, but we don't need to do it at a haste like this.
I'm not looking to pull a hammy, so I'm just going to take this step by step.
Something else I really liked about this movie was the film score. I think it's widely overlooked, but it's such a good theme to this movie, and it's done by Danny Elfman. So the guy who did Beetlejuice, Edward Scissorhands, The Nightmare Before Christmas, the Batman '89, and then the Spider-Man 2002 movies, that's all the same guy.
Yeah, and you can hear it. You can hear those vibes.
You can. Like, I remember one time we were watching Charlotte's Web, and we were like, man, this sounds so familiar. And we looked it up, and we were like, oh my gosh, it's Danny Elfman. Of course, we know these tones that this artist gives off, and he does a good job with this movie as well. So definitely a positive for me. Especially
our generation, I feel like we had that Danny Elfman, Tim Burton beat into us so hard that we're just like, what's this? Like,
yeah, he also does Sleepy Hollow. Like that, he's definitely in that realm.
Oh yeah, and we were emo kids, so through and through, we can recognize Danny Elfman, no problem.
Yep.
As for some messages, I would say a big one is the importance of teamwork and having a good partner that has your back. Like, especially if you're doing anything covert ops or in the police or, anything really.
If you're married.
If you're married, you want a good partner. You want someone to support you. You need somebody who you can communicate with without needing the words. Like they already know what you need, Like I feel like that's such an important thing. So yeah, whether you are battling aliens or trying to figure out what you want for dinner tonight, get someone who has your back. There's also a twisted message that I see as both good and bad, and it's that not all aliens have ill intent, but yet they're treated as such by the Men in Black and hidden from the human race. I feel like this is comparable to the real world and kind of mirrors the whole immigration and foreigners for any country, including our own with the United States. Like, it's negative. I feel like it's just wrong to keep this secret from the public and, let people judge for themselves if something's bad before cutting it off completely.
Good message.
Yeah. But with that little negative, what other negatives do you think come with Men in Black?
I think there's a lot of big words in this movie. Intergalactic, planetary.
Intergalactic planetary!
Reverberating carbonizer and neuralyzer, just to name a few. They went over my head, and I didn't bat an eye when I was younger, but some kids might get sidetracked when they hear these words and decide, you know what, I'm not going to pay attention anymore. I'm going to fiddle with my fingers, or, I don't know what's going on, so I'm just not going to pay attention to the movie. So I think that's definitely a big negative.
Yeah, I mean, when you hit a point where you're like, I don't know what any of this is, I don't know this technology, and even though it's all, like, made up, obviously, and fictional, it's still kind of like, all right, I'm out. It's like when you read a book that goes too much into detail, I don't need to know how many leaves were on this stem, dude. Just tell me what's going on in the scene.
I get the same way with movies. Like, sometimes movies are just too serious that I lose my connection. Like Oppenheimer, great movie, but I just lost my connection to it, and I don't want to continue watching it after a certain point.
I agree. I mean, great message, great acting, but there are lulls in that movie that I'm like, look, did not need to be 3 hours, bro.
Yeah.
Another thing I thought was just super weird is there's this huge threat, right, that's about to destroy our planet within an hour, and they just send J and K. Like, we saw the headquarters. We know there's more agents, and you're just sending your two dudes?
Yeah, they could have even sent some aliens to help. Like we said, there's good aliens in the world, so they could have done that. Nope, just J and K.
Didn't want to put out a memo like, hey, anybody willing to help, meet me here.
Yeah. This might seem like a nitpick, but it's more of a writing issue that I see. And it's that we have this global threat that wasn't necessary. It could have just been, don't let the bad guy leave the planet, not...
The moment he leaves this planet, another alien race is going to wipe us out.
Exactly. And I get that the writers wanted to have this giant threat to the world, but it just wasn't necessary. They could have just kept it smaller.
Yeah, to show that this agency does day-to-day stuff. It doesn't have to be like saving the world CIA stuff all the time.
Yeah, I mean, normal cops in our town aren't saving the world every day. Or even like how they always put like John McClane in the Die Hard movies.
Yeah.
It's always got to be this dire
big
thing. Yeah, it's like, no, there's normal stuff. Just give me a Die Hard where he's doing parking tickets.
Exactly. There are some days where you're like, listen, lady, you were doing 45 in a 25 school zone. Yeah. Like, where does anybody want to watch that movie? No, but
maybe we just be lame writers. No one wants to watch our movie.
But I get it. It's a little too dramatic.
I get that. And then the violence in this movie can be really intense at times.
It can be. Like, I know it's aliens and, like it's fake and stuff like that, but especially the ones that have the human skin.
Yeah.
It's still intense, especially if you're little.
One of the characters gets his entire insides sucked out of his skin.
Yeah, and then he's worn like a costume the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Ooh.
And Vincent D'Onofrio does do a great job at that as well.
So creepy looking.
There's a waiter in the movie who gets bent in half and then stuffed onto a shelf so he's hidden. And then another character is like kind of spider webbed onto the ceiling using slime. You don't get to see any of this happen. It's all aftermath. But it can. I know that the one scene with the waiter really freaked me out when I was younger.
Oh, yeah.
It kind of haunts my memories.
Oh, yeah, and I'm going to touch on a couple more hits in parental guidance. But to start it off, language, it's pretty moderate throughout, I'd say. Nothing crazy, but it is there.
Will Smith drops his normal word that he always uses.
If you've seen a Will Smith movie, same old thing. Like, you know what to expect.
And, hire a decorator to come in here quick, because, damn,
But the violence, yes, there are so many alien deaths and there's blood splatter, but it's a lot of blue and green gunk since it's towards aliens. So it's gory and it's graphic, but I guess it's not as terrifying when it's not human blood.
It's not realistic.
Exactly. There's also a part where an alien disguised as a human jumps off a building and you can hear the splat. And then you see the body lying by a crowd afterwards. Like, that's a lot, man, for a kid, because you're not understanding that realm of what's happening with that, which we won't dive into. But still, it can be frightening. And then the overall fighting in the movie is violent, but I'd say it's cop movie-esque.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like you expect, it's a buddy cop movie. So you're going to expect some like running and some fist fighting, and then they've got their alien weapons, if you will. But scary-wise, I'd say the combination of violent and scary, which we already mentioned, was the bug wearing the Edgar human skin. Yeah. Like, we hear the bugs basically eat the insides out of this farmer and then zip his skin up like a suit. Like, doesn't get much more disturbing than that.
Super creepy.
Another part that I think might creep some kids out is the morgue scene where Laurel is working on the dead alien. It could be eerie. Like, anytime you're in, like, a morgue, it's like, ugh.
It could freak kids out, too, because they touch his ear and it opens up his face to reveal a tiny alien inside there. Like, it could be creepy.
It is. So I thought that scene, might get some kids to squirm. As for grown-up stuff, Agent J makes a comment about Laurel's body, and there's an inappropriate miscommunication between Jay and a woman. But overall, it's just a few random innuendos, and I would say nothing bad.
Nah, not bad at all.
And then cry factor, none in this movie, but by the time you get to Men in Black 3, I cried.
Oh, yeah. There's some waterworks in the third movie. As for an age recommendation, you know your kids better than we do. We're just here to give our opinions. There are a few rather violent scenes, like we had already mentioned, that could alarm the younger ages, but if you have that talk that it's all fake, you should be fine to show your littles. In addition to that, I think that older kids are really going to like this. Being a summer blockbuster, there is action, explosions, and a touch of language. So if you have a teen, I think they're really going to like this as well. I would say the youngest I'd go would probably be Amelia's age, so probably 6. Anything younger would kind of get bored with it. So our Rotten Tomato critics have this movie certified fresh at 91%, which is a thumbs up. Audiences have it a tiny bit lower, still a thumbs up at 80%. Let's see how it holds up in our house. Zosha, do you give Men in Black a thumbs up, a thumbs middle, or a thumbs down?
Thumbs middle.
Why a thumbs middle?
Because it's kind of a little icky.
it's icky. I could see that. There's a lot of goo and slime and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Amelia, what do you give this movie?
Thumbs up.
Why a thumbs up?
Because it's funny.
It is a funny movie. It's got a lot of funny parts. Would you guys watch it again?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Mommy?
I'm going to go with thumbs middle. I really like the chemistry between Tommy Lee Jones and Will Smith, but it's not on my first to rewatch.
Okay.
So, I'd say middle of the road. It's definitely a good movie, but I don't think it deserves that thumbs up. What about you, Daddy?
I'm going to side with you on this. I'm going to go thumbs middle. It is slightly pointing up. Like, it's a really fun movie.
I agree.
The runtime is awesome, being as short as it is, and you're still getting entertained, like, a ton because of all the action. Like I said, it's blockbuster movie, came out in July. So yeah, but I'm going to go with it. It's not my favorite Men in Black movie. That's part 3 for me because of the time travel.
Yep.
But great movie. Thumbs middle. I definitely recommend it.
Add it to the list.
And if you would like to add it to your movie night list, it is currently streaming on Fubo, Peacock, or available across platforms.
And after watching, let us know if you give it thumbs up, thumbs middle, or thumbs down.
And when you want to let us know what you think about the movie, please find us on social media. We like to post pictures of us on our movie nights, letting you know what snacks and sweets we're eating. It's a fun place to hang out.
Our Facebook is It's Movie Night, and our Instagram is It's Movie Night Pod. Thank you for listening. Join us next week for another movie night. Bye.